February's month end of 2021. As usual, the setup's in the description below, but moving straight on to February's data, we pulled 1,567 kilowatt hours from the grid, and we sent back 2.1 kilowatt hours. We had a home usage of 1,697 kilowatt hours, and we had a solar contribution of 187 kilowatt hours. We got from the Powerwall 426 kilowatt hours, and when we pull all that data together, you can see the home usage in the grid pull going down as it starts to warm up towards the end of Feb. You can also see the solar getting better. The Tesla Powerwall efficiency was 88.2%. We put 483 kilowatt hours into the Powerwall, and we got out 426 kilowatt hours. The Tesla app says we were 32% self-powered, and that was from the cheapest electricity on a daily basis and the solar power. And that was made up of 7% solar and 25% from the Powerwall. The solar contribution was 11% of all of the home usage, and we were 99% self-powered during the peak times. The next couple of slides shows the difference between January and February of 2021. And February 2021 was pretty much middle of the road compared with other Februarys since we've had the solar PV. We put 165 kilowatt hours into the cars in February at a cost of £10.51, and that takes the totals up until all of 2021 of 440.9 kilowatt hours at a cost of £38.04. We travelled 297 miles in February, and we've now done 771 miles since the start of 2021. And we've now generated 32,992 kilowatt hours since the solar went in. And the energi Eddi has had 3.53 kilowatt hours in February, and that is after the Tesla Powerwall's totally filled up. Most of that came in the last few days of February. And we've now put 4.66 kilowatt hours in 2021, and this shows how we're using all the solar power that we possibly can with the Tesla Powerwall, and only the excess going into the Eddi. The final slide is a quick indication of the cost that we've had from the beginning of Feb to the end of Feb. On Monday the 1st of Feb, we had a home usage of 63.9 kilowatt hours, and you can see we're still using the electric boiler during these times. We had a solar contribution of 9.2 kilowatt hours, which was pretty good for the start of Feb. We took 15.2 kilowatt hours from the Powerwall, and we had a grid pull of 56.8 kilowatt hours, and you can see the spikes there where the boiler was kicking in. On Tuesday the 2nd of February, we had a home usage of 68.9 kilowatt hours. We had a solar contribution of 2.2 kilowatt hours, so back to normal, low solar. We got 13.6 kilowatt hours from the Powerwall, and we had a grid pull of 68.6 kilowatt hours, and there was some car charging there. And when you bring it all together, you can see the car charging, and then the boiler kicking in after the peak times at night. It must have been a cold night. On Wednesday the 3rd of February, we had a home usage of 67.3 kilowatt hours. We had a solar contribution of 7.5 kilowatt hours, so again not bad, but not a completely clear day. We got 14.6 kilowatt hours from the Powerwall, and we pulled 63.5 kilowatt hours from the grid. So we had Tesla Powerwall charging, heating the hot water up, charging the car, and a little bit later on we did have the central heating coming on in the morning. On the 4th of February, we had a home usage of 59.4 kilowatt hours. We had a solar contribution of 5.6 kilowatt hours, so not a great day, but we did generate something. We got 13.9 kilowatt hours from the Powerwall, so we're getting a full cycle out of that. And we pulled 53.8 kilowatt hours from the grid. So we had Tesla Powerwall charging first thing in the morning and heating the hot water from the grid, and a little bit later on the electric boiler kicks in. Later on in the day, the boiler kicks in again after peak. On February the 5th, we had a home usage of 53.3 kilowatt hours. We had a solar contribution of 4.7 kilowatt hours, and we got 14.4 kilowatt hours from the Powerwall, and we got a double charge on that, and we pulled 50.5 kilowatt hours from the grid. And you can see the boiler kicking in twice, once straight after peak and one first thing in the morning. On Saturday the 6th of Feb, we had a home usage of 59.7 kilowatt hours. We had a solar contribution of 3.6 kilowatt hours. We got 15.9 kilowatt hours from the Powerwall, and we pulled 58.2 kilowatt hours from the grid. A very similar pattern from as yesterday, apart from we charged the Powerwall just before peak from the grid, and that would be just to make sure we got through the peak periods. I would have overridden that. On Sunday the 7th of Feb, we had a home usage of 91.5 kilowatt hours. We had a solar contribution of only 1.5 kilowatt hours, so that was poor. We got 12.3 kilowatt hours from the Powerwall, and we pulled 92.4 kilowatt hours from the grid. That's Powerwall charging, hot water charging, and car charging first thing in the morning before the boiler kicks in. Quite a quiet day overall. And then we had the boiler starting just after peak period again. On Monday the 8th of February, we pulled 89.6 kilowatt hours. We had a solar contribution of 4.5 kilowatt hours. We got 14.8 kilowatt hours from the Powerwall, so more than one charging throughout the day. And we had a grid pull of 86.6 kilowatt hours, and that was a similar pattern to what we had on Sunday night. So heavy pull in the morning from doing everything, along with the car charging, Powerwall charging, hot water charging, and the boiler kicking in a little bit later on. On Tuesday the 9th of February, we had a home usage of 68.9 kilowatt hours. We had a solar contribution of 8.1 kilowatt hours, so that's a little bit better. We got 16.4 kilowatt hours from the Powerwall, and we had a grid pull of 62.9 kilowatt hours. And as the sun was a lot better, we got some energy into the Powerwall from the sun direct. On the 10th of February, we had a home usage of 67.7 kilowatt hours. We had a solar contribution of 7.8 kilowatt hours, so we're constantly getting sun on a regular basis now. We got 14.4 kilowatt hours from the Powerwall, and we pulled 61.9 kilowatt hours from the grid. And everything happening is a similar pattern as the previous days. On Thursday the 11th of Feb, we had a home usage of 81.7 kilowatt hours. We had a solar contribution of 8 kilowatt hours, so another decent day on the solar. We got 75.7 kilowatt hours. We pulled 75.7 kilowatt hours from the grid, and a very messy day really. A lot of home usage in the middle of the day. On Friday the 12th of Feb, we had a home usage of 101 kilowatt hours. We had a solar contribution of 11.8 kilowatt hours, so a really good solar day. We got 15.9 kilowatt hours from the Powerwall, and we pulled 91.9 kilowatt hours from the grid. So this would have been a cold, sunny day, and we did some car charging, and central heating came on multiple times. On Saturday the 13th of Feb, we had a home usage of 92.2 kilowatt hours. We had a solar contribution of only 4.1 kilowatt hours. We got 23.4 kilowatt hours from the Powerwall, so that's quite a lot, so we must have had a double charge at some point. And we had a grid pull of 91.1 kilowatt hours. And again, some heavy use all through the day, so this would have been another cold day with the boiler kicking in and out. On Sunday the 14th of Feb, we had a home usage of 91.2 kilowatt hours. We had a solar contribution of only 0.9 kilowatt hours, so the weather's turned for the worse. We got 12.5 kilowatt hours from the Powerwall. We pulled 91.9 kilowatt hours from the grid, so a cold day, no solar, so this would have been an expensive day. On Monday the 15th of Feb, when everybody's gone back to school, we had a home usage of 52.5 kilowatt hours. We got 8.8 kilowatt hours from the solar. We got 14.9 kilowatt hours from the Powerwall. We had a grid pull of 47.6 kilowatt hours. And again, we're charging the Powerwall up from the sun, so that's why there's such a high usage. On Tuesday the 16th of Feb, we had a home usage of 59.8 kilowatt hours. We got 4.6 kilowatt hours from the solar, so a better day in the afternoon. We got 13.5 kilowatt hours from the Powerwall, and we had a grid pull of 54.9 kilowatt hours, so nice to see the grid pull coming down. And all the heavy usage being used first thing in the morning. On Wednesday the 17th of February, we had a home usage of 59 kilowatt hours. We got a solar contribution of 7.1 kilowatt hours, so quite an average day. We got 19.3 kilowatt hours from the Powerwall. We pulled 54.2 kilowatt hours from the grid. And again, heavy usage first thing in the morning and some charging in the Powerwall in the late afternoon. On Thursday the 18th of Feb, we had a home usage of 40.6 kilowatt hours. We had a solar contribution of 7.3 kilowatt hours. We got 15.4 kilowatt hours from the Powerwall. And we had a grid pull of only 35 kilowatt hours, so that's very low compared with the rest of the month. And we got a double charge from the good solar in the afternoon. On Friday the 19th of February, we pulled 46 kilowatt hours. We had a solar contribution of only 2.6 kilowatt hours. We got 14.4 kilowatt hours from the Powerwall. And we had a grid pull of 45.1 kilowatt hours. So we had Powerwall charging and hot water charging first thing in the morning, and the boiler kicked in later at night. On Saturday the 20th of Feb, we pulled 51 kilowatt hours from the grid. No, we didn't. We had a home usage of 51 kilowatt hours. We had a solar contribution of 2.6 kilowatt hours. We got 18.5 kilowatt hours from the Powerwall, and we had a grid pull of 52.7 kilowatt hours. So the Powerwall was still charged from the day before charging it up, and then the boiler kicks in, but it didn't kick in later in the day. On Sunday the 21st of Feb, we had a home usage of 51.3 kilowatt hours. We had a solar contribution of 4.5 kilowatt hours, and we got 16.5 kilowatt hours from the Powerwall. We pulled 46.8 kilowatt hours from the grid, and again we filled the Powerwall up first thing in the morning, and we also gave it another top up around noon. On Monday the 22nd of Feb, we had a home usage of 41.5 kilowatt hours. We had a solar contribution of 11.4 kilowatt hours, so double figures, and we got 13.3 kilowatt hours from the Powerwall. We had a grid pull of only 35.2 kilowatt hours, and again we pulled from the grid to charge the Powerwall and the hot water first thing in the morning, and it looks like the boiler, no we didn't, we had some car charging a bit later on. On Tuesday the 23rd of Feb, we had a home usage of 44 kilowatt hours. We got 3.6 kilowatt hours from the solar. We got 13.6 kilowatt hours from the Powerwall, and we pulled 38.9 kilowatt hours from the grid. And we're not using the electric boiler anymore, so that's not kicking in, so that shows how much warmer it is getting. On Wednesday the 24th of Feb, we had a home usage of 37.8 kilowatt hours. We got only 0.9 kilowatt hours from the solar. We got 14.1 kilowatt hours from the Powerwall, and we had a grid pull of 44.4 kilowatt hours. So that was car charging in the morning, the daily usage of the house through the day, and the Powerwall got us through the peaks. On the 25th of Feb, we had home usage of 38.9 kilowatt hours. We had a solar contribution of 12.2 kilowatt hours. We got 11.3 kilowatt hours from the Powerwall, and we had a grid pull of 31.4 kilowatt hours. Now the boiler did kick in again, so we must have had a quick cold snap. On Friday the 26th of Feb, we had home usage of 34.2 kilowatt hours. We got 11.4 kilowatt hours from the solar. We got 17.5 kilowatt hours from the Powerwall, and we only pulled 19.5 kilowatt hours from the grid. And the scales have even changed on the app. On Saturday the 27th of Feb, we had a home usage of 40.3 kilowatt hours. We got a massive 15.8 kilowatt hours from the solar, so that's clearly the best solar day we had. And the Powerwall, we got 16.4 kilowatt hours from, and we had a grid pull of only 27.7 kilowatt hours. So you can see the difference between the boiler kicking in and it not kicking in, and having sun as well. And finally, on Sunday the 28th of Feb, we had home usage of 43.3 kilowatt hours, and we got 15.4 kilowatt hours from the solar. We got 16.1 kilowatt hours from the Powerwall, and we pulled 28.3 kilowatt hours from the grid. So the sun there really helping and adding some power to the Powerwall all through the day. So that's the end of February, and as you can tell, by the end of February we're really seeing the signs of spring. But as usual, thanks for watching, and please like and subscribe.